Hey friends, so we're going to do one more theory video here. So I would like to review just how the music theory works, and we're focusing on the scale of G major and all the chords that go with it. And you know a lot of the songs already in G, so you know that you're going to play C a lot, you're going to play D a lot, play E minor a lot. We've done the turnarounds, like the tags, if you want to call them that, at the end of songs in G, often with an E minor chord. Things like that you've started to notice, and I just want to review the details again. So first of all, this picture, which I took straight off the internet, so it says pianomusictheory.com from them. It's marked in blue the keys that you would actually play. So again, if you were to count every key, G and then the G sharp or the A flat, you call it that as well, A and then A sharp and then B and C, etc. From G, you would count 12 to get to the next G. So G to F sharp would be 12, or F, G sharp to G would be 12. But you only play 7 of those keys in the scales, whether it's a minor scale or major scale. You can go out of it, of course, and there are ways to do that, but that creates dissonance. You have to fix it back to tonic after you create that dissonance, etc. But the less complicated music, like what we play in church a lot and stuff, is never going to get out of it. So these, in the key of G, you're only going to play the notes G, A, B, C, D, E, not F, F sharp, and G. And how you get to that that scale, I didn't include this, but you take the main key you're in. So if you're in the G major scale, that would be the G note, and you add 2 notes, 2 half notes, let's call it. Like if you're on a fret on a guitar, they're all the same, right? And on a guitar, the difference between B and C is the same as C to C sharp. So we're just going to count everything as a half note. So you go up 2 and you get to A, you go up 2 more, you get to B. So you could do is G, or main note, G, and then G plus 2 is the first one. The next one is main note plus 4 half steps. The third one is the main note plus 5 half steps. And then plus 7, plus 9, plus 11. I don't know if that made any sense, but I was just counting half steps. So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And again, I shouldn't have said 13. I started on G. I should have said 1 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we're, of those 12, only playing 7. G plus 2, G plus 4, G plus 5, G plus 7, G plus 9 is E, G plus 11 is F sharp, and G. What I want to point out too is that the chords we play, which are normally made of 3 different notes put together. So like the G chord is G, the G chord is G, B, and D. So you would play on the piano this note, and this note. You could also do this B and that D, but this G, you could any order really. It's a way of emphasizing certain notes over another, but simply a G plus a B plus a D somewhere or another makes the G chord. And you can, of course, do 2 Gs and 2 Ds and 2 Bs, et cetera, with 2 hands, et cetera. But the point is you need at least those 3 to create the full chord. And you don't want to add anything extra, because when you add anything extra, you get like G major 7 or G2 or whatever you want to call it, G7. And some of those chords are made up of 4 notes. Some of them are made up of 3 as well. Anyways, so to get that though, you get the G. None of these notes, though, in any of these chords, these are the chords you're used to playing. I put them up here. G, C, and D. You probably are used to playing E minor in your songs as well. In a key of song that's in the key of G, you will play A minor and B minor as well sometimes. And very rarely you'll find a song with an F sharp minor chord in there, mostly in a walk down type thing. And I put them in parentheses, and there's a reason for that in a little bit. So I would think of this one as the least common, but the most common are the ones I underline, and then E minor, and then these 2 other minor types. But why isn't it, for example, that the A major chord fits in the G major scale? Why is it G, A minor, B minor, C, D? So these are majors, and then minors again. You're going to see the same exact pattern everywhere, by the way. A major, 2 minors, 2 majors, 1 minor, and then a parentheses minor. You're going to see that in all the other major scales. We'll talk about that in a second. But why? Why wouldn't it be like G and A minor? Well, the main reason is because A major has 3 notes, and one of those notes is not one of these blue ones. It's not one of the ones in the G major scale. So if you look over here, the G chord is made up of G, B, and D. All three of those are here. They're all blue. A minor is made up of A, C, and E, and all three of those again are blue. But if you had used A, not A minor, but A chord, it would have been A, C sharp, and E. And that just doesn't fit. It doesn't work in the G scale, so therefore it can't work as a chord in a song that's written in the G. I mean, it can work, but you're pushing some dissonance, and you have to deal with that. So it's not the typical thing. B has B, D, and F sharp, not F, F sharp, and that's exactly what we find: B, D, and F sharp, not F. Again, the B chord, B chord, yeah, B chord would actually have this note in it, so it wouldn't work. So, and then C, again, is made up of C, E, and G. D is made up of D, F sharp, and A, but we can think of this A if we want. So we can start here, A, D, and F sharp. I've been trying to stay within these blue things, but I don't know if that's that helpful. This B and that B are both okay. It's not which B, it's just B that works. And then E minor is made up of E, G, and B. So D, I think I mentioned, excuse me, D I mentioned, excuse me, was D, F sharp, and A. Again, A is in the notes. So that's what the point is that these chords and this chord to a great extent, all but one note, all fit, all are made up of the same 7 notes that are in the G scale. And I want to point out one other thing. The G note, the G chord represents the E minor chord. I mean, I said represents, resembles. So if you take a look at this, to make G, you do G, B, and D. What do you do to make E minor? Well, you do G, B, and E. The only difference is that note and that note. Everything else is the same. And if you remember that, like on the ukulele, for example, you have the G chord like this. I don't know how the best way to do this. And then the E minor only has one finger different, right? If you think about it. I mean, it's not the best example, but try to think about those two. On the 3rd string from the bottom, string 3, on the G chord, your finger's on the 2nd fret, which is a D note. But on the E minor chord, it's on the 4th fret, which is an E note, and everything else is the same. Your fingers are put in different places, but you're pressing the exact same places. Think of A minor and C, if you start to think about it, these are only going to be slightly different. So A minor resembles C in the sense that C is made up of C, E, and G, but A minor is made up of C, E, and A, or A, C, and E, however you want to put it. B again resembles, or B minor resembles D. So I wrote all these down here. And we're going to see the same scale. Just let me remind you, to make these major chords, you can also think of them mathematically, like I was showing you with the scale. So main plus 4, main plus 7 basically means if you want to play a G major chord, let's just, for example, you would do G, that would be the main note, and then G plus 4 and G plus 7. So G plus 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, B, and then 7 would be another 3, 5, 6, 7, and that's exactly what we find here. That's how we come up with this mathematically if you want to just count half steps. That's the way I typically do this. Because again, the piano makes it seem like this is different than this, like that, but the fret instruments treat them the same. So I'm going to treat them the same because it makes it easier on me. Notice that on the major chords, you make them by doing main and then main plus 4, main plus 7. This is called the dominant often. Minor chords are very similar, main and main plus 7, but then it's main plus 3. So for example, to get an A chord, you do A, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 is a C sharp, and then 3 more is E. So A, C sharp, and E, but A minor is A, C, and E. Okay, hope you followed all that. But you know all this stuff already by playing it. You know that this G goes with the chord C and goes with the chord D, and then you play E minor a lot. Hopefully, and you might have already noticed that A minor and B minor get thrown in a lot. Maybe you haven't. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to finish this up with talking about the D major scale, because that'll be the next one we do. Now, D major scale, I tried to do this in a very similar format so you'd see there's so many similarities. Let me just copy this over. Whoops. Let me copy this one over. Oh, there's more than one here. Okay, let me copy a bunch over. Control Command. There we go. That's not working. I'll just copy one then for now. And then we'll go back to play from slide. So I can't even adjust it anyway. Forgive me. Okay, well, never mind. So in D, we are going to have the chords D and then two minors that happen to be E and F sharp minor, and then G and A, two major chords, and then B minor, and then this possible C sharp minor, just like with G. So with G, we had G, C, and D, but in D, we have D, G, and A. But the math's the same. You make up the chords the same way, and the scale is the same. You take the D note first because you're in the D major scale. You add 2 and you get E. You add 1, 2 more and you get F sharp. And then you add 1 to get G. And then you add 2 more, and then you add 2 more. Then you add 2 more, and then you add 1 more. I mean, just like the other one. The other scale was G, A, B, C, D, E, F, or sharp actually. And then come to D. This one is going to be same thing. I'm sorry about that. So that's what I want you to think now. What about the chords? Well, the chords D are going to be made up, D, E minor, F sharp minor, G and A and B minor are all going to be made up of these same notes that are in the G major scale. So the chord G, so how do we make it? We're going to make it with this. Let's start with this. So G, and then we're going to +4 and +7. So start with this G, and then +4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is B. And to add 3 more to get to 7, excuse me, 1, 2, 3. So the chord B, the chord G is made up of G, B, and D. They're all in the scale. This system right here is going to create major chords that work in the D scale, these major chords, D, G, and A. All the other major chords don't really work. Like for example, F major. Why does F major not fit in the D songs that are in the scale of D? F major chord would be F, A, and C. Both F and C are not in this scale. So F doesn't work, but F sharp minor works and E minor works. Remember, E and F sharp and E are just around the F. That's why I mentioned those two. A works because A is made up of A, C sharp, and E. This E is not marked, but this one is, so I could have just put it over here. So A, C sharp, and E. A works. B minor works. B minor is made up of B, D, and we'll come back here to the F sharp. Again, that's the same thing, right? Main +4, main +7. So main +4, B, 1, 2, wait. That is right. Oh, it's a minor, so we're doing minor. So +3 and +7. So B, 1, 2, 3. So we got B and D for the main and the main +3. And then add 7, we'll start here, this D, 4, 5, 6, 7, F sharp. So anyways, that's what you're going to be dealing with. So in the next set of songs we're going to do, and we're going to be in the key of G, or not in the key of G anymore, we're going to be in the key of D, and we're going to be playing chords D, E minor, you know both those already, F sharp minor, G, which you know, A, which you will learn very quickly, and then B minor. So the hard ones for you are going to be B minor and F sharp minor. If you're playing guitar, they're a little bit harder on the fingers, but we'll get through them. So good work. And I would like to point out some things about the bass and the guitar and the ukulele about this in the next video. Sorry, this was kind of long. I hope you just watch it one time. Blessings. All right, stop share and end.